patch will bring that. Next, operations. I've got an idea for it. In the first patch we saw an increase in tickets for operations to help the attackers. Instead of having 150 tickets, they've now got 200 and 250 depending on the operation size. So the games are tending to go on a lot longer now, maybe a bit too long. And I personally believe that we see the behemoths too frequently in operations as well. If the attackers lose the first attack, they get a behemoth. Lose again and they'll get another one. And this can be a very frustrating, annoying experience for the defenders. If you're playing on a team that don't really know how to take it out, you just get dominated by it. Yes, I think that will improve as the game goes on and people learn how to play it, but at the moment it's pretty hellish. So how about this instead? You start with 150 tickets, then if the attackers lose, they're given an increased ticket count on the second try, and then only on the third and final attempt, they're given the behemoth. I'd be really interested to see if anyone agrees with this, or if people just like it the way it is and don't have a problem with the behemoths. Either way, it's a small thing that I thought I'd bring up and talk about. So how about anti-air now, another hot topic. This got a small damage reduction in the first patch, but I do think that the range needs reducing as well a bit more. The main issue I find with the anti-air isn't so much single AAs on their own, it's on maps with multiple AAs in a small area that can target one plane, or they're spread out in such a way that they can literally cover the entire map. Let's say Monte Grappa on Conquest. There are at times 2 to 3 anti-airs that can target one plane at a time, which I think sometimes makes the AAs feel stronger than they actually are. If you were to give them a small range reduction, I think that could help balance them a little bit better. Clearly we don't want planes being ineffective and we don't want them to rule the skies either, so there's got to be a balance. And having used the attack plane properly for the first time the other day and actually practiced with it a bit, I was quite amazed at how much splash damage the main cannon had on the default package. You didn't actually have to be super accurate with it to get kills, way more effective than I realised, and there are some videos I've seen of people who would consider themselves very good pilots and they can absolutely dominate with those things. Even still though, from time to time, you do hear those excellent pilots complaining about how good the anti-air is. Moving on, there's a small bug in the game that bugs me, and it's to do with the horses, the hitboxes. I'm sure you've experienced a cavalry class charging towards you on his horse and then you die, seemingly before they actually get to you. I'm not sure if this is the horse hitbox being overly generous or it's some form of lag compensation, but it's incredibly frustrating when you feel as though you've got enough time to move, but you get killed before the horse is really anywhere near you on your screen. I'd like to see that looked into. Another hitbox issue I found is that when people are vaulting or hoisting themselves over a wall, and hitboxes in Battlefield games since BF3 introduced the vaulting or the jumping over objects, and then we had it in BF4, they've always been a bit off and finicky. And in BF1 with the whole hoisting yourself over the wall system, I've had a lot of experiences where I'm shooting at someone doing that and I'm just getting 0 bullet reg, so hopefully that can be looked into as well. And lastly, for the main balance tweaks I'd like to see in the game, spawns. I feel as though the spawning system could be a lot better than it currently is. Firstly, the spawning around flags. It's always puzzled me why we can't have a smarter spawning system in a Battlefield game. So say for example I want to spawn on the C flag on Empire's Edge. Why can't the game go, well, we've got 12 spawns for that flag, 6 of them have enemies near, I'm going to put you at one of the other 6 maybe. Perhaps it does that already, maybe I'm being ignorant, but it doesn't seem that way because of the amount of times that you spawn in front of or behind enemies on a flag. It seems to happen a lot more on the open maps like let's say Sinai Desert. It doesn't feel quite right to me. I think the spawns themselves could be a bit better too, in more cover, and the system could benefit from being a bit smarter if it isn't already. And I know it is incredibly difficult to make intelligent systems like this, but ideally I'd like to see an improvement there.